Now, Liberals insiders are the only ones benefiting from reckless Liberal spending. And the Liberal Trade Minister's friend is the perfect example. She just got caught breaking ethics laws for giving her friend a lucrative contract. This kind of wasteful spending is driving more and more Canadians into food banks. For every hard-earned dollar Canadians make, they owe $1.83. Failed Liberal policies have driven up the cost of home heating and made them double. Why won't this Liberal government do the right thing, stop their reckless spending, rein in their spending, cancel a carbon tax so Canadians can keep the heat on this winter?
Yes.
The Honourable Minister for Families.
Mr. Speaker, what the honourable colleague is talking about is the Canada Child Benefit that's helping 9 out of 10 Canadian families. It's helping that single mom pay for groceries. It's helping that family make sure their kids have access to winter clothing. Mr. Speaker, on this side of the House, we will continue to support Canadians as they go through difficult economic times. The Conservatives keep talking about how things are more expensive, but when they have an opportunity to actually vote on items that help Canadians, they vote against them every time. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
The Honourable Member for Thornhill.
Speaker, $1.83. Canadian households now owe $1.83 for every dollar of disposable income they have. That's what Stats Canada says. The amount that Canadians owe got higher while the value of their assets declined. And with the bank's 7th consecutive rate hike this year, even the bank governor said that deficits are increasing inflation. That, in turn, leads to those higher interest rates. So now Canadians are stuck with the biggest bills they've ever seen. The more this government spends, the more things cost. So when will the Liberals stop making Canadians pay for their wasteful spending?
The Honourable Minister.
Mr. Speaker, throughout the fall, we have put in place various measures to help Canadians with the cost of living, and each step of the way, we invited Conservative members of this House to vote with us and to vote with Canadians. Mr. Speaker, let's take a look at the record. We will eliminate interest on federal student apprentice loans, speed up the Canada Workers Benefit, do a $500 top-up, provide dental care to kids, make housing more affordable. On each of those measures, Mr. Speaker, how did the Conservatives vote? They voted against.
For Thornhill.
Speaker, will continue to vote against the hundreds of thousands of dollars they gave to anti-Semites, the $58 million that they wasted on an app that didn't work, the $1.6 billion for people that quit their jobs during the pandemic, the more than $6 million for people that were in jail, the more than $1 million to dead people. The only people doing well are these are friends of these Liberals. Mr. Speaker, we will oppose the incompetence, but the better question is why doesn't he?
Wow. The Honourable Minister of Immigration.
Speaker, we can observe a fundamental ideological divide between His Majesty's loyal opposition and the governing side of this chamber. On this side of the House, we believe that to support people in need, we can advance programs that actually provide direct help to them. The Conservative solution to an affordability crisis is to do less to help families in need. This should come as no surprise. This has been their approach since 2015. When we cut taxes on the middle class and raised them on the 1%, the Conservatives voted against. When we stopped sending child care checks to millionaires to put more money in the pockets of 9 out of 10 Canadian families, the Conservatives voted against. When we had programs that kept food on the table and roofs over families' heads in my community, they held a press conference and said they would never support those programs.
The Honourable Member for Cumberland-Colchester.
Well, Mr. Speaker, what we won't support is the waste of this Liberal government. We know that Atlantic Canadians are suffering. They're going to pay $7,000 more this year to heat their homes. And the Liberal carbon tax plan is only going to make it worse. The government of Nova Scotia released its own plan this week, which will reduce emissions by 53% over the next several years. This goes well beyond the plan of this Liberal government, which we know continues to fail to meet emissions targets. Will this Liberal government stop forcing their failed carbon tax plan on Atlantic Canadians?
Hear, hear. The Honourable Minister for Federal Development.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, and I love to get up and talk about Atlantic Canadian, where I'm from, because I'm so proud when my honourable colleague behind me was in Halifax, and in his riding we announced a $5,000 grant for Canadians, and Atlantic Canadians especially, to get off oil heat. That's going to help many people in Atlantic Canada and people in my riding of the Long Range Mountains. It's a grant to get off oil, which is what we all need to do. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
The honourable member for Cumberland-Colchester.
Well, Mr. Speaker, obviously the government of Nova Scotia doesn't agree. The PC party has put out a no carbon tax for Nova Scotians petition out there for people to sign because of this government plan. They clearly realize that the plan continues to fail over and over and over again. With the punishing carbon tax, Nova Scotians are going to pay $2,200 more in 2025 and $3,100 more by 2030. When will this failing Liberal government stop punishing and crushing Atlantic Canadians with the carbon tax?
The Honourable Minister of Immigration.
Mr. Speaker, with due respect to my honourable colleague, his mathematics are simply off. He ignores the fact that the program has been designed to put more money in the pockets of 8 out of 10 families than any fuel charge would cost them. In addition, we've created a new $5,000 grant program, which is going to help people in my community transition from home oil heating to heat pumps, which is going to potentially save them thousands of dollars a year. Every step of the way, we've been focused on developing programs to put more money in the pockets of families in need, whether it's seniors, students, workers, or households. We're going to continue to be there for people in their time of need. I would beg the Conservatives for once to join us in supporting ordinary families.